How's it going, guys? This is a new podcast, if you would say. We previously did physicists dominating culture, and now we decided to be a bit more lenient with just what we say. We're going to sit down and chat and see where it goes.
Yeah, and I think we got a bit lenient anyway and started going off track
at the end of the other one. That's why we decided to shift. Yeah. This is Ali and
I'm Jack.
Now we start off the season by a familiar, if you would say.
Friend of the old show. Yeah.
So we hosted Akram before, and we're hosting him again, starting off the season by hosting him. So welcome back, you twat.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Akram was
it was not by choice.
No. He was sitting in on the last episode that we did of the Egyptians, and he said he wouldn't talk, and then he didn't. He was good, but he kept shaking his head every time. He kept shaking his head every time he disagreed or something. No, and distracted.
Yeah. We were just talking about that actually right now. We're talking about how far did the Egyptian.
Do you want to repeat it? It was a very good point.
Jack talked about the decay of the Egyptian civilization and how it ended, and I had like maybe 2 or 3 comments about that. Mm-hmm. So again, like any civilization that ends, it doesn't end in like one year or like even a decade. It's a process that started maybe like a millennia. Before.
You're saying like the Bronze Age collapse.
So the Bronze Age, when Egypt dominated their neighbors, basically, specifically Canaan, and then the Sea People attacked in the 1200s, and the Egyptian Empire at the time, I think it was Ramses III. He fought them in my state in Egypt. They had like a battle near the Mediterranean Sea, and then he had to withdraw all the Egyptian divisions in Canaan, and that actually led to the rise of the Israelites and then Judaism. Yes, it's connected.
Cool it down the anti-Semitic remarks.
I thought that was a politically incorrect podcast. Is it not?
Maybe.
To be determined, I guess. Depends.
But,
CBD.
I mean, we didn't say anything anti-Semitic. It's just the fact that
it's a joke from the movie American Psycho. Like he was just saying.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. I'm going to say that. I think you can have a fact and it be anti-Semitic. I think it can be true and
sure. No. But I'm saying what I was saying was from the.
It is.
Movie.
Yeah.
The
from the
quote
movie.
that I said was from the movie. It's he was just talking on dinner, and then he immediately said, "Just cool it down a bit with the anti-Semitic remarks." He did not say anything anti-Semitic, but he just said it.
Yeah.
Keep going. You're talking about the decay of civilization.
So when they did that, it gave rise to, or it gave space to other like regional powers, like the Assyrians, for example. And they started attacking actually Canaan, and they even attacked Egypt at some point. So from that point onward, you had a constant decay in the Egyptian hegemony over the Near East. You can also talk about like internal conflicts between different governors in Egypt, and also the religious aspect of Egypt at the time. It started to be more of like very superstitious. The rise of like magic, amulets, and all of that.
Oh, okay.
So you had like some cultural decay as well. Until we get to the Persians.
I think it's about this. It was getting close to the same time. No, keep going. Actually, never mind. I was going to say something incorrect.
Yeah. So when the Persians came, the ruler at the time they had to flee Egypt, and then they went back and took Egypt again for maybe like 7 years, and then the Persians came back and retook
That's what I meant when
Egypt.
I said. That's what I meant when I said they bring a native ruler, because they, like, when they took it back, they didn't.
Yeah, I agree. I remember we've spoke about this before. I've read about it before. How the Persians would do that. Yeah.
But they were fine with the Egyptians practicing their own religion. Like I think like Cyrus was a pharaoh. He was represented as a pharaoh.
Is Cyrus the Great? Cyrus II. I think even in how the Jews talk about him in the Old Testament is that they big him up a lot. I think he's generally considered just very solid. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had like the pharaoh's name. He had Horus name. I think also golden name. Like all the privileges.
All the package
that comes with being a pharaoh. Until Alexander the Great came and took over Egypt.
And he took over the package as well.
Yeah.
He took over the package as well, Alexander
yes,
the Great.
Yes. He was
whoever ruled, he had to take over the package.
Yeah.
But the Ptolemies were also, they also represented themselves as pharaohs. If you see, for example, a statue of Ptolemy Soter, which was the first one, it looks like an Egyptian pharaoh.
Like,
he's wearing the thing.
I've seen it.
Same thing with Cleopatra. Like Cleopatra,
she actually compared herself to Isis at some point, and I think
like in the Dendra temple, there's like a big relief for Cleopatra, and she's following Isis. She's in the traditional Egyptian attire that like rulers wear, and she used hieroglyphics and all of that. So the Greeks, the Greek elite spoke Greek, but the rest of the population spoke Egyptian.
Yeah, because Cleopatra was the first one to actually learn Egyptian. Before that, the entire courts only spoke Greek, and then they would do all the main writing in Greek, edicts, laws in Greek, and then they would translate to Egyptian, but it was all primarily done Greek.
And then when the Roman Empire took over, at the time the Egyptian religions started to change. I think it started to change.
They became a protectorate of Rome in around 200 BC is when they became a protectorate.
Alexandria was probably the second most important city in Rome.
It was a huge international hub of learning and prestige. Is very, very highly sought after.
During the Ptolemaic period, you had this like environment of syncretism. You had Egyptian gods being fused with Greek gods and being worshipped all over the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
And that was also present during the Roman time until the conversion of Constantine. And of course, like Egyptians started to convert to Christianity, but not a lot. Like maybe, let's say 15% of the population converted to Christianity before Constantine had converted.
Yeah. Okay.
But after that, it started to grow until they became dominant.
Yeah. But how much did the Egyptian religion
influence?
Or how much did it stay with Egyptian people doing it? Because I know in all other places the mystery cults were a lot bigger, and when they started also the mystery cult of the cult of Alexander.
But this is one thing. Cults were already a thing in Egypt.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was not religions like Ra and people worshipping Ra and other deities, Egyptian deities. They call themselves as cults, they're like slightly different from. It just means that the group.
So this is what I'm asking, because I've heard we've used that phrase before about them being cults. How much does it change from the being like? When I say the word cult, I'm talking about the cults that the rest of the if we just spent more time with the decline of Greece after we basically stopped after the Peloponnesian War, we'd have seen them all go down to these type of mystery cults, and those are the similar type of mystery cults, is my understanding.
But the thing is, you didn't have cults in Greece before at all.
Before when?
Before the mystery cults would arise, you did not have.
So I'm asking how many of those were like the old style. We're using this.
Let me put it this way.
We're going to make a category error because we're using the same word.
Let me clarify. Yeah, let me clarify something. In Greece, they would have, let's say, Apollo. You would not have some people who prefer. You would have some people who prefer Apollo over the other ones, but they would not group themselves together. They're just like the temple of Apollo, or whatever. You'd have, let's say, multiple temples of, like whichever gods. But in Egypt, those who worship this god call themselves like associated with each other and call themselves the cult of Ra, let's say, or the cult of this. But so whenever that transition happened in Greece, it became mystery cults because. What do you mean by when you say mystery cults? What do you?
So this is what I'm trying to get at.
What do you mean they degraded to?
So they'd go off and do drugs and party loads and do like weird rituals. So let me just make the point about where the conversation's going.
Okay.
Is we're about to say we're using cult for the thing. You're saying the Egyptians followed cults, and then I'm using the word cults for how the Greeks were. So we're about to say they're the same thing, or obviously they're different things. We're just using the same word to describe two different things.
No, I get that, but I wanted to clarify was there was no people who associated with each other in Greece before, like, and made this thing out of it, or it was not as dominant.
Yeah.
But in Egypt, it was that dominant. So whenever, like, in Egypt, they did not, like, start doing drugs and doing that shit. They were just associating
This is what I'm asking.
Other.
Did they, as it was turning to it, they turned to, like,
not so
the Egyptians did turn to Neoplatonistic, these types of weird cults.
Not to my knowledge.
So I was wondering if we knew how much it went from, like, the Egyptian style of religion, which uses the word cults, to this weird...
There were elements of that. I think there was a recent discovery of... They discovered pot in
I mean weed.
Weed, yeah.
Oh, okay. Marijuana pots, yeah. I thought you meant like pottery fragments.
No.
Yeah, okay.
And one of the temples,
okay.
I think, recently in Egypt. So probably they had some.
Do you know when it dates?
So there's a lot of psychedelics.
Do you know when it dates to?
I don't remember. I didn't read the entire article, but I'm not surprised. Like ancient people used to use drugs and psychedelics to for their
very frequently.
No, but I think Jack means it in a different way. They would do it because they just lost grip of who they are, something like that.
No, I mean,
you mean they became decadent? They do
so this is like people. No, this is more the way I've heard it described.
So some people do it meditatively for the sake of whatever religion.
But it's not like using the word meditatively. I don't want to give connotations of like Eastern Zen.
Yeah. They just
I mean, like the old. So you can imagine. I'm just going to pick a defined example. So you have like the ancient Greeks, and they start philosophizing, and then people fall away from following Zeus and stuff. And like, I guess nothing really matters. And then you have like Epicureanism and like all these other. And skepticism come in, and then humans still have this outlet for religious experience. So they go off to the woods and they'll do like psychedelics and they get drunk, and they'd fuck and they'd do these weird rituals to certain deities. So it's this kind of degradation out to doing like what you'd count as more like druidic stuff.
What is it? The Bacchadelia or whatever it's called. I recognize
the word. Is that like
Bacchic festival or something that?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what that was. I remember the name, but I don't want to say if that's what I mean because I can't remember the definition.
Or Bacchadelia, something.
What I want to say
is Bacch, which is like one of the Roman gods of wine, maybe. But there's also another word that means like that I read today that's similar to that, and it means like orgy, party. So that kind of thing.
That's
because one of the Ptolemies, Ptolemy the second or third, introduced that to Egypt, I think, for the elites of Egypt.
Yeah.
Revolutionary idea, I guess.
But what I want to get at is they didn't do it in that, like let's say when the Aztecs, or the Native Americans, they took loads of, again, what do they call them, psychedelics or whatever.
Yeah.
Not psychedelics per se, but they took loads of drugs.
Yeah, they'll get messed up.
They took it not in a sense that they didn't use it as an excuse to fuck and.
I think they took it as a religious. My understanding of it, because people know, my understanding of it is because people have hinted at it in several different books. It's more of you've lost main religion, so the normal ways of going to the temple, people are disillusioned with it. But it's not a purely hedonistic thing. It's a hedonistic thing paired with some spiritual elements.
So what I think Akram was referring to was the loss of religion was due to the melding of other religions, not due to losing the main ideology of the religion. It's like.
Is that what you were saying?
It didn't happen because of the Greeks. It was like it happened earlier.
I'm not saying because of the Greeks. I'm just saying the loss of religion was due to the melding of religions, not due to some people straying off the main way.
But that's the like for example, any religion evolves. Like
yeah. We're not talking about how.
It's not like a static.
So what Jack is asking, did they become hedonistic or surface level hedonistic?
I'm saying if we don't know the answer as well, it's more of an open question.
Yeah. That's
really
what I don't think he gets the question yet.
But you're right about saying like cults were very important in Egypt. Like for example, the Rosetta Stone that Cleopatra had issued. It was a tax exemption document for a cult.
Okay.
So they had a lot of privileges. Back then.
Yeah. Okay.
Because
it's more of an open question.
The cult was like a big church.
To the extent that I've read about like mystery
church.
cults, I should use the phrase mystery cult instead of cults to distinguish between the two. I guess.
I think that exploded. I think prior to Christianity, had like Gnostic cults.
So similar again, yeah. So Gnostic
so
cult,
a lot of mystery cult, like
there are many different types.
Yes.
And Christianity was for the mainstream religion people of like the empire would just saw Christianity as another really weird cult, especially with the idea of the Eucharist and eating the body and drinking the blood of Christ. They saw that as like some weird, really strange thing as well. No, that was really big. So the extent I've read about it is Durant talks about it in this book, The Life of Greece, and then Tom Holland talks about it in several of his other books as well. I think Dominion talks about it. I've heard some other ones.
Spider-Man?
Exactly. But nobody ever goes into crazy details. It's very difficult to find somebody that goes into a lot of details about like what the cults did.
He's been alive for a minute, man.
What's that?
He's been alive for a minute.
Tom Holland? Yeah, man. He still looks good. He's still a cute little twink going around. Swinging around.
About Tom Holland, the historian, right? Not
Yeah.
Yeah.
You actually do believe that. Yeah, he's... what do you in Britain? What do you think of someone like Tom Holland? If you see him on the street, like, not like not.
If I chatted to the dude.
No. So someone.
Which one are we
Tom
talking?
Holland.
Like which
I think we're talking about the Spider-Man one.
The Spider-Man.
Okay.
If you talk to the Spider-Man Tom Holland, but without knowing that he's an actor or anything, like he's just a British dude with these
just some
phenotypes.
geezer.
Yeah, a British dude with these phenotypes. What do you think of him?
That's a weird ass question.
No, phenotypes was definitely real, man.
You don't think they contribute to anything?
Yeah, do you read? So we'll come back to the question. Do you read into people's phenotypes? How much do you read into people's phenotypes?
I mean, I would say I consciously judge people, but I try not to.
Unconsciously, you say?
Huh? Unconsciously, sorry. Unconsciously.
Consciously.
I
like it already.
Incriminate myself here, but like, I remind myself, like my animalistic.
What's so wrong with judging people? Do you think you could live without judging people?
I can.
So no human can. So what's so wrong with it?
I'm not saying that I don't like. I'm trying to not to have my treatment of them be influenced by my like judgment.
Interesting. But do you think it correlates? With like so obviously when you go into like a personal interaction, you would still say, if they show me evidence to the opposite, I will accept it so readily. But if you go in, you can also make some assumptions based off phenotypes, and you're like, I'm not shocked by this at all. This is perfectly fine.
Yeah, but like when you think about it deeply, in my experience, I think that when I judge people based on how they look, I turn out to be wrong at the end. So.
Maybe you're just a bad judge of character.
Maybe you don't have to read the phenotypes.
That doesn't say that it doesn't have. That doesn't say it doesn't have any truth to it.
That's a good point. So do you think
they have a name for it in Arabic, right?
Huh?
You know they have a name for it in Arabic, right?
What's the name?
Farasa.
Okay.
Sure. You know that's like they actually call it a sign.
Like,
what does it mean?
So the Arabs, like the 1400 or 1600 years ago, Arabs, they had a name for this, like judging the people. Not judging as passing judgment on people, but figuring out people's characters from the way they look. That had a name in Arabic. Yeah.
I think it was more like general than that. Like even with
it is obviously more general, but I'm not
like
going to say
how they behave.
I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say he grew up in Cincinnati because he has a long nose or something. Or he was molested at the age of 3 because his ear is, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. That's all I mean. But I mean like his more like
on like bone structure.
On average,
to a large degree, yeah, you can infer stuff. which does correlate, I guess. Like, so I bet if you took a load of photos of people who had like videos of that, and you got just seeing their face or the whole body, I guess, and then you guessed their political leanings, I think you could guess pretty well. I think you do a pretty good job of bidding people over that, regardless of haircuts, regardless of like types of clothes they wear. So they're wearing like jumpsuits or whatever, or a standardized dress. Then I think you could tell pretty well. I made some good guesses.
Yeah, but
or you notice yourself being surprised when they have they have different political opinions or religious opinions in your thoughts.
So to go back to Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. I don't know, man. He's got good bone structure in that. I don't think. I mean, he's short, right? How tall is the dude?
He is short.
Was he like 5'4"?
That's miserable.
Is Tom Holland? I'm gonna say 5'6".
7.
How Tom is Tom Cruise? How Tom is Tom Cruise?
I think 5'8", 5'9", maybe.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
5'7".
Really? Yeah. That's short. Oh, he's really short.
Ah, that's a bit taller than I thought he was, but that's still really short. He's 5'6.5", Tom Holland is.
Yeah, I said 5'7". Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
No, I don't know. I guess if a dude's short.
That's not what I mean, though. That's not what I mean.
You're talking about just off his face.
I mean, yeah. I mean, is there like a British stereotype of the people who look like Tom Holland? You know what I'm on about? Like, for instance, like some British girls, like the lips, the eyes.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, is there like some stereotypes like that?
I mean, he's got like a young face. Yeah. He's a good-looking dude. I don't know. I think he's pretty.
I think you're hitting on him, man.
Yeah, man. I can't answer. I'm too lost in his eyes, staring at his photo when I find on Google Images.
Oh, we need to see Jack.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think besides that, he's quite plain. I mean, obviously, like, that's why I led it with those other things. I don't know.
What about when he started speaking? Shut up.
I think it shocked me when I realised he was actually English.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I think his disposition, because I only seen him as Spider-Man.
His movies, like he talks in an American accent.
It always confuses me, man. Like when they have different accents.
He has a good
It doesn't make any sense. It's like
Christian Bale. What about Christian? Dude, I was about to mention him. What do you think of Christian Bale?
He changes so much between his roles.
But what do you think of him? Like, if you talk to him, dude, I think he's definitely very British. Like, he looks very British. But I also think that he'd be a guy that, I'd feel good about shaking my head for him if it makes it like take my hat off. Like, you know what I'm on about?
Yeah, like you're in Peaky Blinders or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think now. I don't think that really speaks to me as them having like any distinguishing.
What do you think of Akram's phenotypes?
Semitic.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not wrong, am I?
No, you're wrong.
You are? Where are you from? What blood is coursing through those veins?
You did a genetic test, right?
Yeah.
He did one.
What did you come out to be?
100% Egyptian.
That's the thing?
Egyptian is an actual race, actually.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's not.
Don't start on that. Don't start on that.
So what is it then?
You know what he disagrees on?
I was ready to believe you.
No. You know what he disagrees on? He disagrees on the word race. We came up with that word. He would say that right now. He says it's a social construct. Like the society, he says society.
See, this is an example.
He doesn't disagree that Egyptian is its own thing.
Is towards your point then, because I was going to say from your phenotype, I wouldn't have thought you'd been a raging leftist and thought everything was a social construct. So I guess I was wrong on that one. yeah. Point proven.
No, I would have said he was.
Whether he was a raging leftist.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
Don't start on that. So
what was it about race?
No, you're the one who said it's not. It was not me.
Okay, so you said Semitic. That concept doesn't even exist. Like it's just a word that was used to describe certain groups of people during the Bronze Age and at the early period of Iron Age, and they even stopped referring to these groups as Semites. They started using Semitic-speaking populations. So no one is Semitic.
So wait, who decided that we changed the language on it then? Because this gets down to a point like
Who decided what?
To change the language from saying you're a Semite to saying you're a person that speaks a Semitic language.
They didn't refer to themselves as Semites.
No, but I'm referring to you as a Semite. Somebody's referring to somebody as a Semite. And then we changed, and then you said the language was changed to say they're not a Semite, it's somebody with.
So what do you mean by a Semite?
So you get down to a point, I guess, like if you could look at the different genomes and they do like clustering algorithms to work out where they're from, and you track it over time, that there'll be a certain type of people from these regions that would be like Jews and Arabs that are like Semites.
Okay.
And then Canaanites, I guess, are also Semites. So this is you'll get down into a thing where what clustering algorithms do you use, and how do you track it through time, and how good is the data? And then obviously edge cases because people interbreed. But like the classification of a Semite would encompass like Jews and Arabs to me. The blood of Jews and Arabs that's Semitic blood. It's from that lineage.
Semitic blood.
Like their lineage. Replace blood with lineage if it sounds better. Whatever language.
Yeah, but like even if that was the case, we're not even Arabs. We're Arabized. So
that's what I was trying to tell you.
So
that's what I was trying to say. That's what I said a second ago, and he disagreed with me, and then now he's agreeing.
I don't know.
But these are two different points, I
know they're two different points.
Now I'm asking about the language of why. So the Arabs exist.
Yeah, but again,
or are they just
like
people?
Most of the current like Arabs are not like ethnically Arabs. They're
I'm talking about when I say Arabs, I'm talking about ethnic Arabs. Do ethnic Arabs exist? Okay.
Sure, but again. You said I'm
yes, well, I was incorrect about that though. But then the point went on to talk about the language that we were using, and the language, and then you said about we don't say Semite anymore. We say people that speak Semitic languages.
That's not like a politically correct.
He's
thing.
saying that's what the history came to.
It's just that like archaeologists just stopped using this word because it doesn't mean anything, and they didn't refer to themselves.
It did not make a separation in the genetic pool that they needed.
So the categorization genetically.
Exactly, it was incorrect. So he's saying they stopped using. He's not saying this is the society. So he's saying people who categorize it stopped using it.
But again, they stopped doing this not because of genetics, but because of like it's very religiously. It has some religious weight.
Yeah, this is all because of the Jews. Yeah.
Wait, so it's not because of a genetic thing then? They stopped why?
That happened in the 1800s. They didn't refer to anyone as a Semite.
So how do we have the word anti-Semitic if Jews
and that word doesn't mean anti-Semitic.
It just means anti-Jewish, right?
It means anti-Jewish. And the person who coined that word was German, I think in the 1500s. Just like he did it in the knowing that he referred he wants to refer to when he used the word Semitic, he was referring to Jews. And you can't understand it. Like some people would suggest writing this word not as a two separate words, but one word.
I mean in German?
Huh? In any language, like.
I mean anti-Semitic in general. The word anti-Semitic.
It doesn't mean against Semitism. You can't translate it like that.
It just means anti-Jewish.
It means anti-Jewish.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why,
So he's saying,
some Arabs say, "Oh, I can't be anti-Semitic. I'm actually Semitic." No, you're not. And even Jews are not Semitic. Yeah. No one is Semitic.
That's what I meant, but I didn't make a separation in the gene pool. It was just when he said anti-Semitic, it just meant the Jews.
Okay, I see what you're saying then. Okay, I see what you're saying.
But again, sometimes we use words. And they mean something if you don't understand the context, but in their context, you understand. Okay, so it means this, right? It's the etymology fallacy.
The which one?
The etymology fallacy, or something like that.
Yeah.
That word doesn't. No, it means that. It everyone understands it to mean that. You can't separate it. You can't explain it.
What he's trying to say is that you can't separate anti and Semitic.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I'm on board. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So what was it about Egyptian being a race or not a race, or race not race isn't a thing?
I mean, again, race is a modern thing that we just started to talk about. If you go back, for example,
well, define race then. What do you mean? Because otherwise I'll get the definition wrong.
It's a category of grouping certain groups of people into one identity, I guess, based on maybe phenotypes or.
That's not. I never said anything about
shared cultural.
But no one. But don't you think that they share some people share more genes than other people? Don't you agree to that? So what's that? What's wrong? No. What's wrong? What's wrong with let's say categorizing them?
It's random.
No.
What do you mean it's random?
It's random because, for example, you cut off the definition of a certain race, even though the people who live very close to that, like, for example, in Europe, you're gonna stop at some point and say, "Oh, these are not white," for example.
Yeah, but that's
right?
not. But that doesn't mean that groups don't make sense, though. That's an unreasonable expectation.
It's not. I'm not saying.
I think he's disagreeing on something that we didn't say. Again, you disagree on something. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. I know what you disagree on.
Regardless of that, I think it's a poor way of defining things.
He's disagreeing. What?
Regardless of any disagreement of what we said, I think it's a poor way of defining.
Yeah,
things. It's also a fallacy as well.
We're not disagreeing on that, but what I think.
What did I define that was poor?
So, like, if you have two normal distributions and then at 3 sigma they overlap by a slight bit, so that you say, see, these ones overlap by a little bit. I guess saying that they're from 2 different distributions doesn't make any sense. Just because you could have a group of white people, you could have a group of, like, say, Japanese people, and because a few of them interbred and like you could see some overlap, you'd be like, I would agree. It's like, do we say they're white or do we say they're Japanese? But you wouldn't just say that the categorization of white and Japanese don't make sense or they're not a useful.
I'm not saying that they're not useful.
So what do you mean by race doesn't exist then?
I'm saying in a biological level it doesn't exist.
Well, how do we make the categorization?
Yeah, that's like, if you let me fucking say the point. So what I was trying to say is, I was trying to say that we categorize people because it helps achieve something. Let's say white people share some predisposed to some, let's say, genetic disease, or black people are more disposed to, or Egyptians are more disposed to some, whatever. Like, it helps with, the categorization helps with dealing with shit like this, helps with dealing with, what type of people are living in this area, what type of people live. So categorization helps in this sense. But what he's disagreeing on is the fact that this concept is, it's a language, so it's a social construct. You could say then that language is a social construct if you want to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, it is, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't say it. You're saying that, what do you mean that race doesn't exist? No, it exists.
What I'm saying is the underlying category exists, and then we have the word that uses it. So the language could be a construct, but the underlying
what we say, both of us, is that
real.
Category is something that is made by humans. It is made by society.
The name for the category is,
no,
but the
category in general.
The distribution exists.
What?
The distribution.
Who made the distribution? We made the distribution. So
what do you
it
mean?
doesn't exist.
Not in our heads, though. We didn't make it in our heads. It
no,
exists
we
in the
did.
real.
No, it does not.
World.
Nature doesn't know what a distribution is.
Yeah, but why are you inferring
knowing?
Wait. Why are you inferring knowing? I didn't say anything about knowing. Nature doesn't have to be self-conscious about itself.
Nature doesn't. There's nothing in nature that makes it a cloud. That makes that separates this group or category in a cloud on its own. That's what a category is. There's nothing that does that. So it does not exist, but that doesn't.
It does exist.
No, it does not.
There's genes in us now.
When you have birds,
they exist out there, and they have a certain distribution.
When you have falcons, and there's no meaning to the word. There's no meaning to mathematics outside for what it's used for. There's no meaning. So there's no meaning to when you have falcons, for instance, in the wild, they interact with other things. There's no separation between falcons and, let's say, pigeons. There's no separation. There is a difference in the genetic thing, but there's nothing that gives me any. There's nothing that refers to any collection or collect.
Does a falcon exist?
Yes.
Yeah, and we have a name for it.
We made the name again.
But I'm saying, but so regardless of the name,
that's
the thing
all
exists.
the argument that we're saying, though. The creature exists, but there's nothing that separates the genes of a creature from the genes of a pigeon. So for the genes of a falcon from the genes of a pigeon. There's nothing that separates it.
What do you mean by separates?
The separation comes whenever you start speaking of maths and language. Language is a social construct.
Well, maths is a language that describes the nature of something that's real, though, right?
No, not necessarily.
Why not? So 2 + 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Equals 4.
Do you think 2 is an actual thing that is there?
Yeah.
No, it's not. The number is not there. It could describe. It describes the number. So that's what Plato was saying there. That the numbers live in a world of their own. Like the actual creatures. Do you think of the number as an actual creature?
Well, I'm not.
That's what you're saying. You say
I didn't say the word creature. I don't put the word creature on it.
But you say the number exists. The number doesn't exist.
But why would I call it a creature?
The number is a concept.
Why would I call it a creature?
No. The number is a concept. That's
I think
different.
It exists. I'm saying it exists.
make the separation between the concept.
You don't add the word creature to what I'm saying, though. That's
forget about the. I take it, retract it.
Okay.
This is very
There's a
enjoyable.
difference.
I'm
Wait.
looking
There's a
at
difference
Plato
between.
arguing with
Yeah,
Aristotle
there's a
here.
difference between a concept and a physical thing. Okay.
Why are you adding? Why
Let
does
me
something have to be-
let me
okay.
finish the point. Let me finish the point. When I say a chair, yeah, there is a physical object that exists. The word chair refers to the fact that I could sit on it. So it refers to a concept. The word chair refers to a concept that refers to some usage or some idea it refers to some idea that we have about a physical object. So when you talk about the genes and when you talk about the distribution, and you're referring to some concept or idea in our heads that does not exist in the real world, but it exists as an association to that.
So I'm fine with the idea of these being physical things, and then we have labels for them.
Exactly.
As concepts. What I'm also saying is that it doesn't have to be limited to physical ideas. So if you have 2 + 2 = 4, when we say that, we have language describing that 2 + 2 = 4. What I'm saying is that describes something real about the universe. Could we just say 2 + 2 = 5 and
It
it'd be
could
true?
describe something real, but it does not describe.
Is
no,
it real
no,
then?
No.
Yeah,
So
there you go
that's
then.
what-
There
no,
we
no,
go.
no. I didn't say that. It describes something real, but
Does it
on
describe
its
something real?
own is not real. That's
What,
the
the
difference.
language isn't real?
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying. The language is a social construct.
Yes.
It's in our heads.
Yes.
But the underlying thing it describes is real.
But doesn't mean the language exists.
What's that? Does the language exist? Only in our heads.
Then
The
no.
the language
Exactly.
the
So
language
it's
is
not
only a-
physical.
The language isn't. Yeah.
Isn't
But
physical.
Yeah, but 2's not physical. But we already agreed that does exist.
No, that's what I'm saying. If it's not physical, then it does not exist. That's my point. If it's
Why?
not physical,
So
because by definition, it's not physical. It does not exist. You cannot see it. You cannot touch it. You
well,
cannot.
that's just circular definition.
No,
then
that's
if you're
not.
saying it's something that's real has to be physical.
I didn't say real. I didn't say
Exists.
it's not
It's
physical.
something that exists has to be physical.
Yes, that's not a circular
Why?
thing.
Why?
Then.
Why? Maybe it's not circular. You're right. But why is that the case?
Because I could prove that you can't touch it, and you can't prove that you can touch it. That's as easy as that.
Wait, no. What? That's the burden of
I
proof
said
that
it.
something
No. I said
Wait,
I
was-
said
was
it does
using the
not
word
exist.
exists?
So I said it does not exist. My
Because you
argument
can't
for that
touch
is
it.
because you can't
can't
touch
prove
it.
that you touched it.
Okay. You are saying it exists, but you can't touch it. Then you can't prove that it exists. That's what I'm trying to say. The separation. So you have to separate what I'm saying
I
from.
can't touch black holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to separate.
We think there's like magnesium in the early universe. I haven't touched it. I can't go touch it though. I still think.
Yeah,
I
we're
still
talking-
think there's
you're
good-
talking
There's
pure-
good logical inferences that. It's
So
there,
you're
though.
saying no. You're saying we're talking pure. We're talking just pure materialism now. We are saying, I'm not saying it's not useful to think of things in this way. What I am saying is, if we're talking strictly speak, if we're talking technically, then it does not exist.
So
The
let's see.
concept is
Let me
not
just see
there.
if I can sum up what you're saying.
Okay.
I'm gonna try. I'll do
Why
it
are
as
we
generously,
talking about this?
generously
I
as generously as
lost
possible.
the train of thoughts, and I don't know where.
I will bring it back to the
As
train of
generously
thought
as
in a
possible.
minute. Okay.
You're taking a materialist point of view. So you would say that language is just social constructs in our heads. It's concepts, and we do that because because it allows.
It's
us-
useful.
It's useful.
It's useful.
It's pragmatic. Anything that's real. No, you use the word real. Exists,
Anything that exists
is a materialistic
is
definition of existing.
is physical. Anything
Yeah.
that exists is physical.
It's a material,
and that's,
physical
And by the
thing.
way,
This is your worldview.
But this is yes, and this is
Okay.
not. So that doesn't mean I'm not using the other stuff. I'm saying it's an existence statement. I'm just saying it exists.
The
or
other
it does
stuff,
not
and then
exist.
anything that, and yeah, and
That
then
doesn't mean
anything
it's
else,
not useful to talk about it in different.
But it
things.
doesn't exist.
But it
It's-
doesn't exist.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
And
just language that we come up with. That's useful.
Exactly. And the concepts, and my point about that is there are concepts and ideologies that you can forget about. There are some philosophies that you stop using. That if you stop using it, it ceases meaning anything. That
I mean, a lot of
proves.
identities
But
die.
sorry. Let me finish this. But you
Right.
can't have an element like a physical element that constructs
I
the
understand.
universe.
Yeah, it's a materialistic point of view. Yeah.
But I don't think there's any other point of view because you can't once you stop thinking of it, once you stop mentioning it, once you stop referring to it, it ceases to mean anything. It means a thing only in a context.
Yeah, so I have a different philosophical view then.
Just wait. Let me.
Okay.
And then that doesn't mean it's to get back. I was saying that doesn't mean it's not useful, but also by the definition of the language that you constructed exists. If you look up what exists. So language is very tricky. Language uses its own system as a reference system. When you define a word in language, you use other words.
This is why This is why I was hinting at circular, but I retracted it. But this is the essence of what I was trying to get at.
That's a language thing. That's not an ideological thing. No. So what I was trying to say is the existence. The use of the word existence implies a physical existence. If you look it up in the
no, so I'm not. Don't. Okay. So if we're going to debate, we're going to again. We'll talk about philosophical points. You can't say just Google what the Webster's definition in the dictionary is.
Not Webster's.
Whatever dictionary, man. I use that as a default. You can't do
all
that.
the dictionaries.
Whatever dictionary.
What is it? For?
Okay. So
why is that for?
Because we're having a philosophical discussion, just to say like what the
but the philosophical discussion depends on the definition.
Yeah, but why? So why are you saying that the dictionary is the arbiter of the definition?
I am not because that's. What do you mean?
What do you mean?
It is because it is. This is what we use. What do you mean? That's by definition again. That's by definition that the dictionary is what contains the definition of words.
Yeah, but
no, not in my word view. In any word, what do you think they made it?
So if the dictionary's changed the definition of the word, then what? The definition is different.
That's exactly what I mean. It doesn't exist. We lost some concept. We lost some concept.
Yeah, because
I did. No. Say okay. Well, how did I do that?
Because you're claiming that this is arbitrary and it's social.
But the objective truth is in the fucking.
But you're not accepting that these definitions can evolve and can change from.
No, I accept it. That's what I said. I accept it.
So why are you telling him to if it's like?
It wouldn't mean anything. It's not talking any true thing about the. I mean, you don't even believe. You don't even
because
believe anything.
Relative.
You don't even. You believe everything. Yeah, I mean.
No. What's that? What do you think I believe?
You're saying that all the language is just malleable and it's only useful for whatever, but it doesn't describe anything that's real.
I didn't say that. No. I said no. I didn't say that. No.
Which word are we using?
I'm not even on about the word. You said the statement that I did not say. I said it describes something real, but I did not say it in itself is real. You're taking my words in a different way. I said I did not. I said it itself.
What are we gonna call this podcast?
Wait. So I said.
Undecided yet.
Angry dudes or something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I did not claim that it doesn't describe something real. It describes something real, but it on its own is useless. You can't separate language on its own and say it's useful unless it's used to describe something. It's not useful.
But you said real has to be a physical thing.
It describes something real, yes. So it's not real in that sense. It describes something real. That's what I'm trying to say.
So when we say the word
real doesn't exist.
Yeah. When we say the word two, what does that describe?
Say that again.
When we use the word two, does that describe anything that's real?
That doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean anything.
That doesn't mean anything. You have to think of two objects. You think of two. When you say the number two, you think of two chairs. You have some.
No, I can think of the number two. I can think of the abstracted number two.
I like number two.
Yeah, I like
you
number
think
two.
of that. No, you think of the ink.
Like
you think of the ink that you print on the paper. You don't think of what two is. Two, you think of the ink that you print on the paper, or you think of two objects. Or if you think of the idea of describing two objects. Again, it's a concept. It does not exist. You think that's what you have in your head. What you have in your head is the printing of a number two. You don't think that I could hold some two in my hand.
So if two is 2 plus 2 4, is that real or no? That's not real. That's just
concept. As a concept, yes.
We just agreed that
yes, as a concept.
But only as a concept.
Yes.
And are the laws of logic, are they fundamentally real about the universe, or that's just language as well?
It also depends on what
it's both.
Like
both? It's both?
But
they're not
logic
physical.
is different.
Why is logic different? So here we go. So there we go. So why is logic different?
What do you mean logic? Why is logic different?
You just said that it was the laws of logic were different because the laws of logic.
The laws themselves, no, the laws themselves are not. They do not exist. Yes, but
so
they describe.
It's just language that. What?
It is language. Yes.
It describes what? Something that doesn't exist.
Real.
So the laws.
I always said that describing something that exists does not give you the existence.
You said the laws of logic are real.
Describe something that exists, but they do not themselves exist in a realm of their own or in this realm. They do not exist.
What do they describe?
Something about the world.
Man, that's real.
Whatever,
exists?
Yeah, whatever, real or not real, it doesn't matter. It describes.
Is it real or real though?
What is not? What is? Be specific. I am saying that.
From your definition of real.
From my definition is, the laws themselves, the ideologies,
The
not
word,
real.
the word or the thing?
The words. It's
The
not
word,
real.
yes, we're fine on this.
So, but the word could describe a thing, and could describe a real thing.
Is that thing
The
is real?
description?
Does it describe something real?
What do you mean?
Does the word, the laws of logic, does it describe something real?
Yeah.
But you said real has to be physical. Are the laws of logic, not the language, the underlying thing that
What
it
do you mean?
describes,
How is that
physical?
contradictory? I don't see the contradiction.
What he's trying to say.
I don't see the contradiction. You're not getting my idea. I know what I'm saying. There's no contradiction.
Real, and at the same time, it also could describe something that is not real.
I don't see what you're saying.
Okay. So, for example, can you
You've
see?
completely contradicted
Can
yourself.
I
you-
did
can
not.
you touch-
I did not.
can
You just
see
don't
or
see
touch
it. You just don't see it.
Generosity, for example.
Say that again.
Can you see or touch generosity? It's a concept. It's not like a physical.
But it doesn't mean anything unless you say, unless someone goes to you and gives you something, an actual thing. It means nothing if you don't think of it this way.
We're moving on.
I don't even remember what I was talking about.
So you were talking about the word
about
race.
hieroglyphics.
We were talking about. Okay, we were talking.
I'm
No, no,
just
no.
saying that-
Wait, we were talking about the word race.
I'm saying that.
I
it's
urge
just
the listener to
useful.
listen back on that and see Ali's fuck up on
I'm
that.
just saying.
I
that
don't
it's-
think you see
Nah,
it,
we're
man.
moving on.
I
we're moving on.
genuinely
I'm
think you
just
don't
doing
see
this-
it.
I'm just doing
Okay.
this antagonize you now.
Yeah.
We'll move on.
I was just saying that it's useful as like a social. What are you laughing at?
No, it's just been a fun podcast, man. How
It
much
is,
different
yeah,
the
it
vibe
is.
Everyone's very
How much it
enjoyable.
shifted, yeah,
I
yeah,
wonder
yeah.
if people listen to this, they would just think,
Oh
God,
my God.
God, they must
I think we
fucking
just
hate
spent
each other.
20 minutes like just
must
arguing.
hate each
Oh,
other.
really?
But it's enjoyable, man. I like it. It's
Yeah,
fun.
we haven't done One Piece in a minute, man.
Sometimes I think about when I do this.
Actually, that was my original idea for my podcast that I wanted to do. Like, it was actually a podcast about nothing. It's like Seinfeld.
And
you
we've
know?
really not said a lot, I don't think, so far, so we're on a good track.
Well, like you're not talking about like a certain topic and like the other podcast.
Yeah.
You're just like saying stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Sometimes I think about the idea of it'd be cool, even if this podcast doesn't become big or anything, if like kids or grandkids, it'd be if I had recordings of my granddad talking from like 80 years ago, having debates on it, it'd be very entertaining. Really entertaining.
To get back to what we were
go on.
saying that
Yeah,
races,
just saying
we were
that-
saying that the word race itself does not exist. But
you can
yeah.
define it like what you want. For example, we had the Nordic race, the Alpine race, the Mediterranean race. I mean, no one uses these like.
Yeah,
races.
regardless of the philosophical point that we got down, I do agree that like it has a certain you wouldn't, practically speaking, you would choose it off the usefulness. So if you said like when I say like Anglo-Saxon, I'm Anglo-Saxon. I'm also a quarter Irish to the extent or Celtic to the extent that matters. And then also if you go back far enough, then the Anglo-Saxons actually just interbred with enough of a white.
I think
people.
the gist of the point that it's a bit looser than we think.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And also, this is similar. Going back to the other podcast, whenever we talked about they do like prehistory genetics as well, and it's always one of those ones that changes on like a 5 to 10 year scale, like what they thought 10 years ago.
Really?
Because they get technology gets better.
Their the comprehension of
the way that they bother to do anything
that makes
changes.
sense.
So it's one of those ones. It's not
I
good. So
agree.
it's not really worth like. It's an issue when people start an ideology based off of science and
Yes.
we got the scientific results. Now we've got.
That's
now
what I
we
was
know
trying
the
to
truth.
say. That's what I was trying to say from
Yeah.
the
And
whole
the same
thing.
thing with physics as well. Like, for example, Big Bang and all.
This
that.
is true.
Like,
By the
that
way,
changed
by the
our
way,
understanding.
I don't think they've been doing it lately though. Like current physicists, dude, you'd be surprised. They don't have anything that pertains to. So okay, I presume when Einstein was thinking of relativity, he was thinking, how the hell does that word work? Like he was thinking of what's actually going on. Right now, it's just. I don't know. I don't have a word for it. They don't care about. They do not have. They're not trying to understand what's going on per se. They're just. It's whatever is useful, like for technology, which is not bad, but.
I mean, don't you have like theoretical astrophysicists, for example?
Yeah, how much? This is something that you guys will have more of an insight
dude,
than me.
if I tell you the separation.
What is your research about, Jack?
Mine's observational astrophysics.
Okay.
So very different.
So
Astro, but yeah.
If you
relative to what we're trying to talk about.
If I tell you this, the division of the funds between physics, it's theoretical. So theoretical physics takes, with other stuff with it, takes less than 1% of the the funding in physics.
What? This is like
Yes.
the half of the. My
Yes, I
understanding,
mean,
this is
I
like,
did theoretical. Dude,
if you
here's
get in a department, half of the faculty members will be theoretical physicists.
this
and
is
the
wrong.
other half,
This is not true. I did
Well,
theoretical.
most of physics
I mean,
is condensed matter,
I
and then out of
did-
astro, it's like so they do computational astrophysics, and then there's observational astro, theoretical astro.
that has
it's
a
not-
lot of
doesn't-
funding.
I don't think there's really too much here.
But so I did theoretical physics. I did not have that much wiggle room when it comes to funding. You always had to, like, the department had to support you somehow with TAing or
so
whatever.
people who do string theory and all of this.
Dude,
they
these have to be. These people would probably. This is how they are. They would do like a lot of useful stuff outside of that, and then later in their life they have a tenure. Later in their life they have a tenure, and then they could just do whatever they want to do. They can't get. Which is not bad. This is good. I think this is good, but I don't think a lot of people are doing this right now.
How much of these? So I've thought of this not specifically just for like theoretical physics, but I know like the deep state just used sent as a collection for like CIA, all the black funded stuff that they hire like the best people from like fields and just take them on to do all like secret cool research.
I guess you don't hear about them.
You don't hear about it, but like it's a thing that they do.
Yeah, I don't
So-
think it's not. I mean, it's like
so I
you
wonder
have
what-
you have a Manhattan Project. So
Yeah, exactly. Man.
obviously-
So this is the
yeah,
thing when they have like, the government says it confirms that there's UFOs. I normally just default to that being, they probably have technology that's way ahead, 30 years. And all, so maybe they've made breakthroughs and all these things, they're just not bothering to share it.
Yeah.
I
believe that's a thing.
always get really curious about that,
probably a
man.
thing.
That would be one of the benefits of getting a clearance at some point, hopefully in the future.
So I guess my argument against this would be like.
Against
the-
what?
Your idea of like they have like a technology that is like 30 years ahead of everyone else. But people do research all the time, and like they can achieve that technology, right?
I guess maybe an example that I would choose, not saying that this one, but like imagine if it was like fusion technology.
Yeah.
I can imagine the deep state coming up with that and be like, right, I'm not gonna. We can build some cool weapons off that. We'll leave it for now. We'll be
I
chilling.
think this is like highly impossible.
Impossible.
They have like.
Oh, I should have. You're the nuclear physicist.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have used that as a. What do you think about that? Actually, that's a good segue.
I mean, look at for example at the current projects that are being funded, like ITER, for example, in Europe. You have like 20 different countries pouring a lot of money in this project, and they still haven't achieved like a viable fusion technology. Like you still have like end up with the problem of like sustaining the fusion reaction.
Is most of that come with like being able to contain the?
Yeah, I mean
plasma?
they have a lot of like. I guess it's an engineering problem at this point. Like you can't sustain the reaction for a long time without heating the container itself.
Yeah.
And and the temperature is like
Crazy high, right? Like insanely.
like higher than the core of the sun.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So I suspect that like the government like collects some experts and send them to
Yeah, maybe that's a poor example. I think I heard it before. What was it in the context of? It's in like biophysics. So they did people that and biologists, and they did a lot of work with. Yeah, coming up with certain pathogens and certain like solutions to diseases. I presume maybe that's really far ahead as well.
The two goats that they cloned, right? Cloning is something that's.
This is something I thought about as well. Like if I was Elon Musk, I definitely would have cloned myself many times by now if I had his worldview.
Things have been quiet about.
If I had his worldview, he wants to have as many kids as possible. If I would not be shocked if he cloned himself specifically. So if I'm not going to make it to Mars in my lifetime, I'll make 10 versions of me. They'll go out and get to Mars.
But other clones wouldn't have his consciousness, right? Like it would.
No, but they'd have his genetics. So this is why people. It's similar to like having kids. Like, I could have kids, but then
this is something
Elon,
I believe in. With whatever exists means, like the will to live. They would have his will, if that makes sense. I would be intrigued to see how different you could.
Or would be closer. So I would say,
really
obviously,
doubt that.
so if you're Elon and you've got your genetics and you're like, all right, I want to carry this on to the next generation, you can pick, and he has done, pick like a dozen women and have kids with them. But you could also then say, you know what, I like my genes so much, I'm just going to take a 100% copy of mine. I'll raise him in a different way, so he's going to turn out different, but it'll be closer than what my son would be. Even if I raised him next to my son, because he'd be a baby, he's more likely to be like me than what my son would be an argument. Which I think is fair. I don't think there's an issue with that argument.
But I guess.
You don't think genetics matter? when it comes, you don't think
Ooh,
genetics
loop back
matter.
to it again. Nice.
Yeah. You don't
quick.
think genetics matter?
No, I think it matters.
No. When it comes to, I'm being specific now. Like the way you live your life, like a lot of characteristics like show up. Like also that they actually tested that the cells have some memory of how the parent lived
What's
the
the
life.
word of that?
Yeah, I forgot the word now.
Epigenetics?
No,
No, it's a different thing.
Wait, actually,
Is it that?
Wait. What was it? Oh, bollocks, man. I can't remember the word. It has a name. It is a science. Just write down epigenetics and see what it says.
Yeah, it's just giving me hereditary. But yeah, so obviously, yeah, I'm chill with that concept.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
I mean, genetics or...
It is epigenetics.
Epigenetics,
Yeah,
yes. So epigenetics is when they try to train, let's say, okay, you have a population of bees or whatever, and then you see rats, and they train them that the something that kills the rats, and then one of the rats would know that this thing kills me. Then they would take that rat, make it reproduce. The offspring, or the flies as well, they did that with flies, I think so. But the offspring would know instinctively that there's something wrong with this food or with this thing.
And it can even work on, so that's a very behavioural thing as well, but it can also work with if you have people that have gone through times of starvation, their kids will be predisposed to, I can't remember which way around it is.
Eating more?
To eat more, and then put on body fat at a higher percentage, more readily. That will go through.
So they definitely, that will, when I say that, so let's say, going back to Elon Musk, like if he did that, he would, I presume my kid would be more like me than, like, he would be like...
I mean, it's a fair example. Your genes are just, even regardless of the epigenetics, its genes are 100%.
Sure. But also the environment is
I know it matters. Definitely. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Yeah,
you wouldn't expect it to grow up the exact same as you, but it'd be interesting. That's
I think he's saying, what if one of Elon's kids, Elon's clones, grew up in a way harsher environment, something like that.
I think Elon had kind of a shitty childhood, I think is what he spoke. But yeah, I see your point. He'd have a much different childhood, vastly different childhood than South Africa.
But it would be more likely. It's a likelihood thing. It's not,
since if Elon thought his bottleneck was how many women can I impregnate, and it cost me this much and this much hassle to deal with my baby mamas all the time. If I just create a load of mini-me's, then we're all good. It's no hassle to me. I can hire some assistants to look after them.
Yeah. But I don't understand what he's doing. Like it seems very egotistic.
I don't think he does either.
I'm not saying this is why I had the caveat from his worldview, from what I can surmise of his worldview, that would make sense. But I'm not saying I think there's some deeper. I wouldn't do it. I think I'd have some issues with doing it.
Do you want to call it?
Yeah.
I'm kind of fading.
Yeah, let's leave it, man. How long have we recorded for? We didn't even come up with a name for the
hour.
podcast, but we'll think about that.
Yeah.
57.
Yeah.
Right, guys. We'll
Interesting experiment in the new format.
see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening.